Hi, you guys. So I'm doing a series on what children need to be successful in the academic skills that many parents really find to be the most important things for their child's development. And I wanted to start with, well, what is most of the parents and families that I come to in contact with, it's really, really important that they are academically strong, right? And so at the top of this bucket, I have formal learning, reading, writing, and math. That's like if every parent I know wants their kid to be strong in reading, writing, and math. I mean, I can't think of a single parent that wouldn't want them to be their kids to be strong in reading, writing, and math, okay? And that's kind of like the pinnacle of learning. And so I'm going to show you over the next series of videos how there's so many other things that need to be in place before reading, writing, and math is able to be done well, and how movement, not specifically martial arts, but movement is so critically important to this formal learning, okay? So let's say that this is the bucket uh, of your child's development. And let's say you had a bunch of water, and this water represents learning, okay? The stuff you want to pour into your child. All these holes, if I poured water into this, what would happen? The water would spill out of all these holes. So, teachers will spend a lot of time teaching children how to read. Water spills out of the holes. How to write. Oh my gosh, especially for children who have fine motor difficulties, that writing just doesn't stick. How to do math. Yeah, I remember being a little girl and I could not understand math to save my life for like a year. It took a lot of effort on my dad's part to help me understand it. All right, so what is it that these holes are? Is these developmental milestones that have not been achieved. So a child who doesn't achieve the developmental milestones I'm going to show you here in a little bit will not be able to formally learn to read, write, and do math. It doesn't work. It just doesn't work. So we end up having children with special needs. We end up having children that are considered ADHD. We end up having children that are behavioral problems. But maybe there's another reason why this is happening. And so for the last 4 years, I've been exploring this possibility. Why is it that movement helps children do better so quickly for many, many children? Not 100%, but many, many children. I've noticed over the years, a parent will come in and say, my child has behavioral issues. They're always angry. Okay. We get them in movement in the martial arts, and all of a sudden, their academics improves. Why is that? How is that possible? So I'm going to, over the next few series of videos, I'm going to show you why that's the case. And we're going to start right here. Well, first let me show you all the different skills that the children need, right? We need primitive reflexes. The baby reflexes and the postural reflexes have to be in place first before anything else can occur. Then we need the sensory vestibular. This is vision, hearing, smell, taste, touch, proprioceptive, movement, kinesthetic. Okay, this is all the sensory stuff. If a child has sensory issues, this is going to be a huge problem. It'll always be a hole in their bucket. They won't be able to manage the reading, writing, and math because the water is spilling out the bottom of the bucket. We need to have the visual. Whoops, let's try this one. We need to have the gross motor. And this is where the martial arts helps. So if a child is pretty solid in these areas, but maybe their struggle is in their gross motor, and teachers are trying to teach them learning, reading, writing, and math, any learning that teacher pours into their bucket of knowledge is going to spill out through those holes. Does that make sense? All right, so we've got the gross motor. And then finally we get into the fine motor. So we're talking about left, right brain hemisphere, spatial awareness, directionality, midline, crossing the midline. All that is fine motor. This is what helps your child know how to write, how to read from left to right. If this isn't in place, there isn't anything going to change that. They're going to struggle with this all the rest of their lives. But it's layered, you understand? Then we have oral language. Does a child understand? Do you ever notice how you tell your child turn left and they go right? Or pick up this leg and they pick up the other leg? this area is not solid. They don't know oral language. They don't know concept and direction. And then we've got the auditory. I mean, the auditory is huge. A whole bunch of stuff goes on with listening. They need to be able to comprehend what you're saying. They need to have a figure ground. That means that they have a background of what is going on, and they can focus on you and not listen to the background. They need to have sequential memory, and on and on. This is a topic all by itself. I could cover 2 classes of this. And then finally, the visual. If the child has a visual issue, whether it's Irlen syndrome or, you know, they're having dyslexic issues, or they need glasses and we don't know it, you know, formal learning, reading, writing, and math is not going to happen as well if any of these areas are missing. Okay, so let's say that they're good visually, not a problem there, right? But their gross motor is terrible. The learning will not be as effective. Teachers are pouring in all this learning on the top, the water's seeping out from the edges that are not working well. So in the next few weeks, I'm going to be doing a focus on each one of these areas with specific movements that you can do for your kids, just to touch on some of these things. The most important one being the primitive reflexes, baby reflex and the posture reflexes, okay? Yeah, so that's all I have to say today. Have a beautiful day.